ESG issues are now directly seen as linked to a company's operational excellence and social license to operate. And that is very much linked to three trends. So the first trend is transparency. So transparency is the new normal. And companies are expected to disclose information on their business activities. The second is stakeholder expectations have changed. So there's an increasing awareness and sensitivity around these topics, coming from the consumer level all the way to NGOs and activist groups, further down the line to investors and regulators. And with that, it takes you to the third trend, which is this movement of ESG issues from soft law to hard law. So the fact that what started off in the last couple of decades with a lot of voluntary initiatives, principle-based frameworks, is now moving into law and regulation. There's the broadening in the evolution of ESG topics from looking at a company's own operations to looking at its clients, its business partners, its suppliers, and now even looking further down the line into its investments. And that means you have to know where your activities are and where the pockets of risk are. And I think that's a challenge. If you're a manufacturing firm with 50,000 suppliers, where do you start? And when you look at tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, on all of the topics we're talking about beneficial owner today, there's a lot of complexity out there in the globalized economy where it's difficult to know where those risks actually are. I don't think there's a top 3 risk perhaps for all companies. I think it's rather industry specific. The risk that a pharmaceutical company faces is different than that perhaps of a retail company or an electronics firm. But that being said, I think you can start by looking at the regulations around these topics. And a lot of the regulations that we've seen are around human rights, child labor, forced labor, human trafficking. So there's legislation in the US and in the UK around that. That's probably a good place to start. So I think it's the idea that if you don't know, you cannot act. So if you need information to make good decisions. And where RepRisk plays a role is to provide information on ESG risks and business conduct that can help a bank look at their clients and their business transactions, or help a multinational look at their supply chain. So that, combined with company data and other information that they're pulling in, everything from sanctions to PEP to money laundering to other topics, helps you get a very comprehensive view of the potential risk in that relationship.